So what motivates me and inspires me really is intelligent design, great concepts, and problem solving, being able to kind of put all the pieces of a puzzle together to really think through a brief. It's through that thinking and it's through coming up with great ideas that I'm inspired to actually get on and produce the work that we do. Also, collaboration is very inspirational, and so as a team we're often talking and discussing ideas. Getting onto a computer is probably the least inspiring thing. That's just a means to an end. I suppose the other thing, if I'm honest, beautifully crafted pieces of work also inspires me. So it's not just the idea, it's once you get to the end and the idea is completely refined and evolved and been taken through different manifestations, and then producing something that's very beautiful and crafted is also sort of very inspirational. We've worked with this client for nearly 7 years, and every 2 months we produce an exhibition for this client, and every time we sort of put together an exhibition we have a meeting with the client and a new body of curators. So the client's always the same and the curators always change and always different. And this client, you know, at the beginning was very conservative and was very tight with budgets and really didn't want the graphic design to have any voice whatsoever or have any personality. It really had to stand secondary to what the curator was doing and what the exhibition was about. And this was just going to be a small catalogue that would go alongside it. And at the beginning he really didn't mind if they all looked exactly the same. But as time went on, we've sort of educated and worked with this client and taken them on a journey, and now he's so involved with what the catalogue and the exhibition identity is going to be, and he really loves the that whole part of what are we going to do this time and how's it going to be different. And each time it's a new challenge, and it's a completely he really enjoys taking it to a new place. When we first started, when they'd have an opening, you could quite easily all fit within the space, and there'd be some, you know, wine and nibbles and all that kind of stuff. Now the whole exhibition, it spills onto the street. There's a huge following of the exhibitions, and the following is not just because of the content, it's the graphic design and the way it's being communicated. People are really enjoying the way that we interpret that information and how far those concepts can be taken right the way through the exhibition. So there is a huge following, and now because of the lengths that we've gone to as designers, better curators have come on board, and which is great. And so they've had some really strong curators saying, I want to take this space on. And it's a really small space, it's a very awkward space, but they know they're going to get really good material out of it, and there's going to be really good thinking, and the interpretation from a design point of view will be very strong and high. And the budget, about 3 years ago, they nearly got their funding cut for the space, and there was just there was no argument once they showed the statistics that the space had to keep going. It was only meant to be a temporary space, and now it's actually become a permanent fixture within the city of Melbourne. Again, it's listening and designers being able to visualise what the problem is. So as a designer we have very good visualisation skills, and we need to be able to use those not just when we're presenting to clients, but when we're actually visualising a problem. And just recently we were given a big brief from a large advertising company came in, and it was a brief that they couldn't solve internally, and they gave us all the problems, and these problems, you know, it wasn't just one problem, there were loads of different problems. And as they articulated all the problems and we really listened to what they were, we started to sort of be able to visualise why these things weren't going to be able to work, which I think is a mindset that designers have that other people don't have. The account manager in the meeting said to me, how the hell, how did you do that? He said it just seemed like this bombardment of kind of problems, and to him he couldn't make sense of them all. And I think as designers, that's one of the things that we do really well, is actually use that visualisation to see where the problems are, where the holes are, and be able to kind of work with that. It's not just about what we produce at the end on the computer and how we present that in. It's how we actually take the information that's given and how we decipher that, and how we're able to kind of really understand a client and be sensitive to what a client's needs are. I never stop at the end of the day. I end up sort of going to the supermarket or watering the garden or whatever I might be doing, and those ideas are always being mulled over until you sort of come up with something that you think, yeah, no, that's going to work. And quite often it might be the first idea, but you have to really understand when you're producing something that might be quite complex and there might be different audiences, you need to allow it that time in your head to kind of make sure that gestation time, to make sure that is going to be able to communicate to all of those various audiences, or that idea will work for that, vast range of mediums that it might need to go on. So there is a lot of thinking that goes on sort of off the computer and outside of kind of traditional work hours. You're often always thinking and generating ideas. Those things don't stop.